Okay, so PJs. Aw, yeah. When I think classic Fox animated show is Simpsons, what is that? Family Guy, what are those? King of the Hill, get that out of my face. No, well, obviously, the PJs is the most iconic Fox animated series. Straight up number one, G. What the hell is the PJs? Okay, so I'm going to be rather brief with the description because partially it's not that hard of a show to explain, and also partially because I kind of don't want to spend like a gazillion hours explaining the premise to it just because it's a more obscure show. Well, pretty much, PJs stands for the projects, and it's about, well, okay, his real name is Thurgood, but he gets the nickname the Super, so I'm just going to be calling him the Super the whole video because I think it's funnier. So yeah, it stars the Super, who is the superintendent of this apartment complex. Him and his wife Muriel pretty much just live there and deal with all their crazy neighbors and shenanigans that go on in their daily lives. And a sense, and for the sake of comedy, all takes place in a really rundown town. All the characters are black except for the one Korean guy who but even then he acts like he's black. So obviously they get a lot of jokes about like how poor they are and how cops don't do shit for them, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, someone like me is the best person to talk about this kind of show. Well, because I'm not from the suburbs. I'm in the hood. Z-Man from the hood. G. I live the thug life. Therefore, I am the objective best person to tackle this show. So let's see if PJ's got forgotten for a good reason, or if there's actually some really good behind the show. Well, one, hanging with Mr. Super. Super sees two kids, Calvin and Juicy, at his apartment complex play hooky, and him punishing Calvin makes him want to be a super. Okay, episode one. Do we start on a good note? Because first episodes can be tricky, and man, this was tricky. It's a 3 out of 5. We start PJs off, unfortunately, with a mid episode. For being episode one, they really didn't do a good job explaining the premise of the show. I feel like if I didn't already know a little bit about the show going in, I would have been 100% lost about whatever the hell was going on in this episode. Which again, really is not a good sign when it's your first episode. Like, I get that first, you don't want everything to be too self explanatory, otherwise, it'd be kind of weird, but like, come on, it's still the first episode. You gotta explain some stuff. Maybe have it begin with Super doing a little monologue or just explaining his basic life or something. I don't know. Well, beyond that, though, even looking at it as an episode, it really wasn't anything that special. It's just kind of there. None of the characters really made much of an impression. Super is just kind of a basic enough guy. He doesn't. I do respect that the Super Muriel do not have kids. They don't they ain't like that. So I mean, Calvin and Juicy are kids, but they just live at the apartment complex. They are not Super's kids. So that can actually create a very unique dynamic. But this episode doesn't really do much with it, other than just Calvin's parents, who we never see in this episode, but they pretty much don't want him to be a Super because it make him want to have to clean like toilets and stuff. So ew, gross. I'm a this episode it gives the impression that the show wants to have a more wackier sense of humor and all that, and I don't know. Overall, it's like a fine episode, perfectly watchable, but it doesn't really do anything special or that memorable. 2. Bone, Bugs, and Harmony. Super tries helping the old grumpy woman, Miss Avery. This one is also a 3 out of 5. However, I do think I prefer it to episode 1. We have a whole opening set piece about Bugs, which was okay enough. I mean, it had the occasional good joke. The real meat and potatoes of the episode, though, is Miss Avery, who's one of the main recurring people in the show. She She pretty much is like a like Patty and Selma from The Simpsons and how like they constantly bully and berate Homer. Miss Avery's kind of like that, except obviously way older, and also has no real relation to Super Muriel. Anyway, it's okay enough. Seeing Super try to help her out is at least kind of nice, but again, it's kind of much like episode one. It feels weirdly both fast and slow paced at the same time. It's hard to explain, obviously, because it requires you to kind of watch the episode yourself. The entire show is free on Tubi, by the way, so you can just watch it there. But so hopefully, if you do watch it, if you have seen these episodes, you know what I mean, right? I'm not the only one who thought this, right? It's on one hand, the characters talk weirdly fast, especially Super. Maybe they're trying to make it like that for like a more jokey delivery, but no, it didn't really work for me. Ugh. So yeah. Also, the whole reveal that Avery she eats dog food, it wasn't even really like funny. It was just really freaking sad. And I'm not sure why they made that a thing. I guess so that way Super can give her a dog at the end. Fine enough and still better than episode one, but that really wasn't a high bar. So, do 3. The door. Super buys a new door for the apartment complex before it just gets stolen the next day. Okay, so this one is another 3 out of 5. Again, I'm sorry, I'm genuinely struggling. It's a bad sign if we're 3 on your third episode and I'm already struggling to say things about your show. It features the same problems as the first 2 episodes, except this doesn't feel like a premise that needed a 22-minute episode built around it. It's just, oh, the door sucks. So Super gets a new door gets stolen. The Super tries to get the door back. Gangsters took it. It wasn't really anything that special. Since I haven't really brought this dude up yet, I guess I wanted to at least throw some positivity in here and say that throughout all 3 of these episodes, there has been a highlight, and that's Smokey, aka the crackhead, the best part of the show so far. I've consistently found him the funniest character. He's like a side character. He pretty much is one of the main cast, even though he doesn't really live there. His whole shtick is that he's literally just a crackhead. Hence why I'm calling him that and not his actual name, which is Smokey. The crackhead is so funny. He is easily the best aspect of these episodes. He has voice. Oh, that's such a bad impression of his voice, but because it's not that high pitched, but trust me, if you hear this dude's voice, look up like PJ's Best of Smokey. It has to exist somewhere on YouTube. Please watch it. It is funny. Spoiler alert, he probably is my favorite character in the entire no, he is the best character of the entire show. Just full stop. And he will consistently be a highlight throughout the entire season. Only say again, me being so positive though does not change the fact that the episode itself is so boring. I barely even remember about anything about it. Like, what's there even really to say about this thing? It's so boring. It's about a freaking door. 4. Journal fever. It's wintertime and Muriel is sick, so Super's got to take care of her. Yeah, this is a 2 out of 5. Man, at least it's not a 3 out of 5. At least it's different. But of course, different doesn't automatically mean good because this is a mediocre episode. Damn, how did they get this one so wrong? Okay, so for some main problem up front is that the episode X, Super was the one in the wrong. Was he in the wrong for the government for not wanting to take everyone in the apartment to get the shots? Maybe, but they make a joke of playing that the government really was trying to track them or something. So that social commentary element they weirdly try to throw in and then never return to is just there. Oh, so I guess we should blame Super because he didn't do that thing in the opening, but again, they make a joke implying that he was right about that. So it's like the government really was trying to do it, was trying to track them, use by giving them vaccines. I don't know, dude. It's stupid. It feels like they're trying to make a some anti-vax joke, but, like, they didn't really know how to really make it work, or so they just randomly shoehorned it into the plot line, and then from there, it's just Muriel being sick, and it's the basic crap you'd expect this type of plot line. Muriel makes Super wait on her hand and foot, and it's really not funny, and it's really annoying. Before this point, Muriel's been just the most basic wife character ever. She's kind, pretty much a housewife. She's been the basic. She's your basic stock, Marge Simpson, Lois Griffin wannabe. But in this episode, they make her really annoying. And again, for some reason, they act like it's on Super, even though he was trying to be there for her. Like, what the hell? And then they make this really stupid point about how, oh man, I can't believe men are like this. Man, men are so forgetful. And like, if you've seen my channel and you've seen these reviews, you know how I feel about this kind of gender crap. It's not funny. And it's always targeted towards men, like almost always. And it's, dude, what the fuck? Why? What do we do, twin? Super trying to treat you right, girl. Admittedly, I did like seeing Super trying to get the journal for Muriel. That was sweet. That was a sweet moment. And they do somewhat admit that Muriel was in the wrong, but it was a very brief line. Like it's you may accidentally not hear it, and then you wouldn't even know it's in the episode. They still try to mostly act like it's Super that was somehow in the wrong for the whole thing, which is just really aggravating and annoying. And yeah, mediocre episode. That's a freaking 2 out of 5 right there. Still probably on the higher end of a 2, but still. It still has the same problems that the first 3 episodes already had anyway, so it's not like it was. So I still didn't find it funny or anything. Let's hope that's the worst the season gets, because man, I do not want to deal with more of that this season. 5. Rich Man, PORN, man. Super tries fixing a theater, only for it to turn south. Boing. Me doing that implied that it was indeed that kind of, that kind of house. Overall, episode was a 3 out of 5, but it is the best one so far by a decent amount, I'd say. It was fine, on the higher end of a 3 rating. Really, that P-Man stuff doesn't come into like the last third. Really, most of it is just about Super trying to renovate the old theater because him and Mira went on their first date there, which it was cute to at least see them on the first date, give them a little bit of backstory. Super was still kind of neglectful back then, but hey, she still married him, so hey, you're stuck with him. Overall, though, it was fine enough. Maybe because it is about that subject by the end, so this episode feels more adult. This isn't really that adult of a show, which, hey, if you've seen my reviews on Bob's Burgers and King of the Hill, you know I absolutely do not mind shows. I don't always feel the need to be really adult and edgy. If anything, I almost prefer it in some cases, but at least this made the episode more interesting. And also, again, a Crackhead being the best character when he pretty much used it as his own little place, and he was like showing Super Muriel. It was funny. Again, Crackhead really is the best aspect of the show so far. He is carrying this whole show on his freaking back right now. When the rest of it is so painfully mid, Crackhead is still proving that he's peak fiction. Hashtag justice for Crackhead. 6. Boogie Nights. Super and Muriel move into a fancy place. Dude, this shit's a 3 out of 5. It is so forgettable. I'm going to barely say anything about this one and almost kind of skip over it because it is so not worth your time. This one was so slow paced. Okay, so what's the story in this one? Pretty much the people that like helped create and make the projects. I guess Super didn't make it by being the superintendent. I don't know. Apparently, he didn't even know the guy either, so that's confusing. Regardless, he passes away, and pretty much his fancy place goes to Super Muriel. However, Muriel doesn't like this because she thinks that them living in such a nice place makes them so disconnected from the rest of the world, or at least I mostly mean the rest of the like apartment. So she leaves, and Super's okay with it until it turns into like some sort of Christmas Carol parody where like either that or It's a Wonderful Life, one of those types of things, except not really a Christmas thing. Where Super gets shown just what the world would be like without him. And again, and for some reason they show it as being better without him, but yet somehow that inspires him to want to go back, even though he knows like Muriel will be happier without him. Everyone will be happier without Super, but apparently he wants to go back anyway. Yeah, one of the problems I'm having with this show so far, especially now that we're halfway through the season, is that the characters are really mean to each other. I'm sorry, but I really do not buy that these characters really enjoy being around each other. It's eh, it's a problem I think a lot of adult animated shows have, where like they want to be funny, so they struggle to really have like character connections. Again, some shows like Simpsons, Bob's Burgers do it right, but then you got a show like this, where again the characters are all kind of just jerks to each other. Like pretty much everyone in the apartment doesn't really like Super that much, and even Muriel is only sometimes on his side. It's not great. Not boring, not bad enough to be a two, but definitely close. This thing is kind of boring. You're right, not kinda. It is boring. Period. Not woman's period though, because that's yucky. Okay, to be fair, okay, to be one good thing about the episode is that I do like that Muriel's feminist group was called "What's Up." I just looking at it now, my favorite moments, and I'm glad I wrote it because it was a funny moment. Oh, it's our woman against people group. It's called "What's Up." Okay, now on to number seven. A hero ain't nothing but a super. The apartment complex starts a neighborhood watch, but when Muriel stops a criminal, Super gets the credit. 3 out of 5. Again, best episode so far, but that really shows how mid the show is rather than the episode actually being of worth. It's a basic enough story, but I guess seeing Super like genuinely shows appreciation for Muriel is pretty wholesome. Not much to say about this one. Basic ass story, but it's okay enough, and it had like a few good jokes, so it's okay. Drink break. We got that drink. Drink break. Drink break. Overall, as you can see, throughout this midpoint, the main problem I'm having with PJs is that again the show is painfully unfunny. It's just not that good, not that well written. I'm really struggling to really find words to even say. A lot of these episodes are just blending together. It's it's not great. Will the second half be better? I doubt it, but maybe. A, he's gotta have it. Super takes pills to help his blood pressure. Oh, shit. What do you mean this is a good episode? Thank frick we get a good episode. A 4 out of 5. Finally. Was genuinely worried while watching the season, like by this point that like, oh man, I'm never gonna get any good episodes. But then bam, good episode. It's just funny. I have nothing more to say about it. Plot's okay enough. Super trying to get the pills in the first place was funny. Him getting the pills and being all horned up was funny. And And then him not having the pills anymore and then trying to like pretend to be all hyper for Muriel was funny. And their ending was sweet. It was one of the few times so far where I genuinely bought the sweet ending because it felt more real. Maybe because I was laughing so much during the journey that like I was more able to genuinely believe the care. I like this episode actually. Genuinely pretty funny. If you're not into like sex jokes, then I could see this one not being your thing. But as someone who can find them funny when done right, yeah, this was a funny episode. I like this one. Happy to report that there actually is an episode in the season that I would genuinely rewatch. That's a good. I'm happy to hear that. I mean, I already knew that, but I'm happy I could tell everyone in the internet about this. Yeah, that's right. I know you're watching me. 9. Boys and the Woods. Super takes the boys, aka Calvin and Juicy, camping. So, how is Boys and the Woods? I just realized if I had a nickel for every time an episode in the season had an N in the title, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Either way, after that glimpse of goodness, we get another painfully average episode. Fine enough. It's one of it's one of those higher 3 out of 5s where it's like there's still some good stuff. The fundraiser opening bit had a few good jokes to it. Everything was a little funny, but not funny enough, or not well made enough to where I'm like, oh man, I really want to rewatch this one. Again, though, Crackhead, my boy Crackhead. I love how a viewer left the second I said Crackhead. Come on, Crackhead's peak. No, genuinely though, with Calvin and Juicy finding him. Oh, I know, no viewers. Come on, man. No, Crackhead's funny. Okay, so like Juicy and Calvin find him, and it turns out Crackhead and like, the fellow Crackhead people are like living in the society in the sewers. And like when Juicy's like, "Aren't you gonna come with us?" And he's like, "No, this is my place. I don't fit in with society." That shit had me dying. That was the fun. That might arguably the funniest joke in the whole show so far. I loved that. Justice for Crackhead once again. Just a shame that that's towards the end of the episode. So a lot of it before it was just kind of okay. 10. Operation Gumbo Drop. Super gets jealous when Juicy makes great gumbo. Hey, what do you know? Another 4 out of 5. This episode does a pretty good job of developing a Juicy more as a character. Before this point, he was kind of just the fat kid. He didn't really have a lot of. All of his shtick was that, oh yeah, I'm fat. I have a sign that says, please don't feed me. Get it? I'm fat. But no, this episode genuinely develops him better. It proves that Juicy deep down is a really good kid. He didn't even really care about making the gumbo. He just wanted to do something with Super. But Super was so jealous about it because Juicy's be making that better gumbo. And Super really wanted that prize of a real gumbo machine so he can make his gosh darn gumbo. And it's like, on one hand, you get why because Super was in the beginning was so confident. Gumbo was clearly something Super was passionate about. So you totally understand why he gets upset when Juicy is revealed to be better at it. Unlike most episodes of the season, the character motivations actually make sense. And again, the characters feel more like real people here, while still having some good jokes. I think Philip was the guy's name, but like the judge hating on Sanchez, who was one of the guys living there in the show. Him just constantly hating on him for no reason shouldn't be funny, but really got to me. He was like, okay, this gumbo's okay. This gumbo's okay. Bad. Ah man. I don't know. That shouldn't be so funny, but it is. And of course, Crackhead winning the gumbo contest. Yeah. My boy Crackhead. Oh man. People leave him when I be talking about Crackhead because y'all don't understand Crackhead like I do. He earned that victory. He did make the best gumbo. Super purposely made his gumbo bad so Juicy could win, but neither of them are ever gonna win because Crackhead is gonna win. He's so awesome. And of course, Crackhead, like the true Chad he is, didn't want the gumbo machine. He wanted the box it came in so we can live in it. He even said, "Ooh, a mobile home." Man, why can't this guy get his own show? Well, I'd watch that. It probably wouldn't be that good because he works really well as a side character, but I'd still at least pretend I'd watch it. And in the end, Super and Juicy genuinely feel like they get more of a bond, which is really nice. And they even agree to share the gumbo machine together, but not with Sanchez, because I don't know, F Sanchez. Apparently, he did something wrong that we just don't know about, and that's why no one likes him in this episode for no reason. Sorry about that. My computer's acting up a little bit. 11. You go, Cart. That's such a dad joke episode title. Oh my lord. All right, the story for this one is that Super accidentally destroys Calvin and Juicy's go kart. It's a solid episode, 4 out of 5. Hey, back to back 4 out of 5s. That's nice. Don't have a ton to say. Basic enough liar reveal episode where Super tries to cover it up. But you do genuinely feel bad for Calvin because Calvin is again just a kid and he's taking this super seriously. Like he really wants to get to the bottom of this. And then when eventually they all pin the blame on Juicy, even though he obviously didn't do it, and Calvin's like, "You're like my best friend. You're like my brother to me. We both saw each other's ding dongs." It's like, man, you feel bad for that. Ignore the last line, but man, you feel bad for them. Like, come on, like they, especially since they do hang out a lot because they're like the two kid characters who live in the apartment complex. I guess I really should be saying the projects because that's really what the show is named after. Either way, you feel bad for them. Admittedly, the ending is kind of predictable, where it's like, oh, everyone used the go kart, so Super didn't even need to feel bad. At least we got our boy Detective Crackhead on the case, so that's good at least. Thank you, Crackhead, for being our Sherlock Holmes that we so desperately need in these trying times. Overall, though, still a funny episode. It doesn't sound funny when I describe it, but when I'm watching it, I was laughing. I was enjoying the story. I was enjoying the character interactions. I was liking it. Again, sometimes I'm naturally not the best at saying things, which is very unfortunate because I'm a reviewer. But please watch this one for yourself. It is a funny episode. 12. House Potty. Super starts to get replaced by an electric toilet. 3 out of 5. One of the better episodes. In general, it feels like the season has been getting funnier and funnier, which definitely helps this episode's case and making it one of the better episodes. Still not anything special, though. Have you ever seen that Simpsons Dress of Horror segment, to House of Wax? This is just a less funny version of that. And that was a 7-minute segment in a Dress of Horror. This is a full 22-minute episode. It kind of just reminded me of a slightly better version of the Door episode from earlier the same season, where it's just Super getting a more high tech thing. Again, because I think the show's gotten funnier overall as it went along, I do think I find this episode way better than that one, but still a mid episode. And again, we go right back to the show's more mean spirited ways, as no one cares that Super got replaced by the toilet. Tell me again, am I supposed to care about these characters? It's it's watchable enough. Again, it's funny enough to where it's still called a watchable, but not an episode I'd really go back to. Well, alrighty, final episode. Do we end on a good note? 13. Hayati sings the blues. Super gets a curse put on him. But when it doesn't work, Hazel's magic is put into question. Okay, so this is another episode that's trying to develop one of the people in the apartment complex. This time, Hazel. Her shtick is that she does like this voodoo, juju type of magic stuff. Despite that, though, this one's really boring. 3 out of 5. one of the most boring episodes in the whole season, surprisingly, which is weird because I thought the season was getting better, but then we got this one, which really wasn't, which had a few funny moments, but mostly kind of a waste. Pretty forgettable finale. Super pretending that her curse worked, so obviously she'd stay was kind of cute, but other than that, not a lot to this one. Very meh, very mid, kind of just there. And that's PJ season one. Now, time to talk. Just say the names of all the episodes. Starting at number 13 with the only 2 out of 5, we got Journal Fever. But then, oh wow, the majority of these are 3 out of 5s. I couldn't tell. Anyway, for the 3 out of 5s, we got Boogie Nights, Hayati Sings the Blues, The Door, Hango and Mr. Super, Bone, Bugs, and Harmony, Boys, and The Woods. Hey, the 2 1 episodes were put right next to each other. That's weird. Rich Man, P Man. And then for the top 5, we have A Hero Ain't Nothing But a Super, and House Potty. And then for the top 3, which are the 3 4 out of 5s, the 3 episodes I'd recommend you actually go and watch. We got You Go Kart, Operation Gumbo Drop, and He's Gotta Have It. Purely for being the one I laughed at the most, is my favorite. Man, this season was pretty mid, huh? Unfortunately, I hope this is just a case of season one itis, where it's clear that the cast are trying to get the best version of the show. Well, like they're still trying to develop it. Season two has like 20 something episodes. The third and final season only has like 8, so I don't have to worry as much about that one. But season two, if it's mostly like season one, then man, I'll be in for a boring ride. The problem is that for a lot of the season, I really just wasn't attached to the characters. It was so painfully generic. A show with such a cool premise kind of felt like it just went to the wayside. It feels kind of like Family Guy in terms of episode structure. Much like Family Guy, it has very much a story structure where it's like this happens, then this happens, then this happens, and it's like that can be fine, but like the problem it runs into the same problem that Family Guy has, where it's like after a while, like doing these types of plots where it's like opening bit and then we get to the main story and like this more joke over story thing, it doesn't really work that well for the long run. Which is why Family Guy started really going downhill after season 7, and why I didn't really find a lot of this season that good. Again, though, pretty much every episode did still have some funny jokes. That's a given. Again, the fact that most of these are still threes, most of these were still perfectly fine. I could still sit through most of these episodes. There's only one mediocre episode, and hey, to be on the positive side, there are 2 things that good that I gotta say. The first one is that by the second half, it felt better. Sure, there's still a couple of mid episodes in there, but hey, it's the second half where the good episodes started coming in. Like He's Gotta Have It, and You Go Kart. Like we started getting some good episodes in there, proving that hey, maybe they're starting to find their footing at least a little bit. And if nothing else, we got Crackhead, who's peak fiction.